Hi guys, welcome back to another A Chapter Day series. I hope you guys are doing fine and staying alright. It's a new week today, it's a new day today, and we should be grateful for God giving us life, for God remembering to wake us up today and giving us good health and just giving us safety overall. So be thankful to God for that. No matter what your situations are, just say a short little prayer. God, thank you for adding this day, this week into my life. Okay, welcome back to another Chapter Day series. So for today's series, I don't have an exact memory verse, mostly because I slept in again. Hooray. My sleeping schedule, I'm just trying to get used to the times I have to wake up and the times I have to sleep, so that's something new. But nonetheless, I don't have a memory verse for today, but tomorrow I will. But yeah, welcome to today's chapter. So previously we read Judges chapter 14, which talks about God's timing and God's will. So recently, like I said yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, I talked about how I was going to write my plans for the month. I couldn't do that because I still had a lot of things to do. But as I went to bed and woke up, I just started having this, frightening feeling like, oh my God, I'm getting older. And I'm 16 and I'm waging all this pressure on my hands. I'm like, I'm getting older. There are things that I want to achieve. There's a point in my life that I want to be at when I'm probably like done with college. There's a career path I want to start. There's things I want to get, certificates I want to get, things I want to achieve, and all that good stuff. I want to do those things. But the question now is, what if I don't achieve those things? What if the time limit comes and I haven't achieved those things? That's the fear in me. And I just had to tell myself, wait a second. Yesterday I talked about God's timing and God's will. And right now I'm out here not following what I preached yesterday. And I'm not saying when you're, dealing with God's timing and God's will, you don't have a say on your thoughts. See, when you're dealing with God's timing and God's will, you're supposed to do everything physically that you can. I know there's a phrase that's not actually in the Bible that says, God helps those who help themselves. So, in the sense of, you don't expect to say, okay, I want to be worth this amount of money by 2050. No, you can't say that if you're not going to work, or if you're not going to, invest in real estate and all that good stuff. If you're not going to do all those things that will probably spring you up that amount of money that you aim for, if you don't manifest in it through God's faith, through the faith you have in God, then it's going to be impossible. So like I said yesterday, if you say, okay, I'm working on my own will, I'm working on my own timing, I'm working on my own planning, and also you ideally say, oh, I have faith in God. Really and truthfully, in reality, you have faith in the power of you manifesting your will and your plans and your timing and your goals, and all those things you're set for yourself. The faith is in your power. But when you're working with God's timing and God's will and God's plans, you have faith that the power in God will help you manifest your goals and your, plans and stuff like that. So you're having faith in the power of God, not faith in your power. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about. And this morning I was like, oh, what if I don't achieve all these things? It looks like I'm not going to achieve them. And I just had to tell myself, hold up, this is me doubting myself, and I'm not going to feed my doubt. I'm going to trust God, I'm going to have faith, but by the end of 2020 I'm going to achieve these things. By the end of 2020 I've started this career path. By the end of 2020 I've started investing, even though I'm only 16. Some bank is going to let me invest, okay? Because I plan on having a certain net worth by the time I'm done with college. Like, I don't want to play. So, I don't know which bank is going to let me start investments. I don't know who's going to let me invest in real estate, but someone out there is going to let me. that I know. So yeah, and I feel like now time management is a very big problem for me because I don't know how to manage my time since I'm working, and I also have things to do, courses that I'm taking, certificate programs, and all that beautiful stuff. But yeah, I know God's gonna help me. I'm gonna balance my time out and get used to it. Anyways, I've rambled so much. Welcome to today's chapter. We're reading Judges chapter 15, and it's 20 verses, which is pretty short. So basically, this chapter talks about Samson's revenge to the Philistines. So remember, we talked about Samson being a little bit of a temperament person. And now he needs to have revenge on them because he went to go marry a girl from the Philistines. His family was like, no, 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 Samson, you're not going to marry a girl from the Philippines. Oh, I said Philippines, from the Philistines. And he's like, you don't get to say who I get married to. And he went ahead and married, went ahead to go visit a girl from the Philistines. Now, a verse here just gave me goosebumps and chills. So, verse 6 says, then the Philistines said, who has done this? And they said, Samson, the son in law of Timnah, because he has taken his wife and given her to his companion. Basically, Samson goes to go meet this girl's family, and they're asking all these things of him to do, and he does them. And then later on, there's like this outbreak between them, and Samson again is a temperamental person. He gets angry and he's like, whew, first is up, and he goes back and he comes back the next day, and the father of the girl is like, I thought you were not going to marry my daughter, so I gave my daughter to your companion. I'm like, could you be more savage than that? I mean, how do you tell someone that you gave their companion, their friend, his wife? His wife to be though? How do you say that? How do you come to a stance to tell someone that? Like looking at them eyeball to eyeball. How do you say that? Like, Samson, you have just mixed yourself with a set of people that have no heart. They have no gut. They're just heartless. So yeah, that really just, you know, giggled me. And so that talks about that action, and also it talks about the two cities that were delivered by God, and how God showed his power in Samson by ripping his robes. So basically, after Samson had a little rebuttal with the Philistines started asking, who is this dude Samson related to? Because he's not one of us. And they're like, ooh, he's related to the Temanites family because he was going to marry their daughter. So guess what they did? They burned the father and the daughter. When I read this, I was like, what? How? This is jungle justice right there. Jungle justice has been occurring since 1,000 billion years ago. I mean, that's jungle justice. I don't know what crime they committed. I mean, anyway, if you say they're related to a criminal by proxy, I don't think you should actually kill them for that. But anyways, that's what happened. And then they caught Samson, but they were like, oh, we're not gonna kill you. So they tied him in ropes rather, and God gave him power that he ripped the ropes in between because he was so thirsty, and God split the water and Samson urged his thirst. So you see, I like the way the character Samson, he's not a character because the Bible is not fictional, but I like how Samson is portrayed because although he has his flaws, which are temperament and anger, God still helps him because he's not he's not perfect. He's human, and God knows that he's not perfect. He's human, and Samson is asking God for mercies in situations where he has acknowledged his downfalls. And one big thing I feel like I'm gonna use myself here that I have proudly gotten better at is acknowledging my mistakes. Yeah, acknowledging my mistakes. I might not acknowledge them in front of people. I'm trying to do that because I have my little pride. But I feel like in front of God, I have finally understood that God is greater than me. Not that I used to think I was greater than God, but I'm more open to just telling God, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I'm doing, this is what I should not do, and it's more fluent in that manner. But for people around me, I can acknowledge my mistakes, but not all of them. I'm trying to do that. Anyways, that's basically what this chapter talks about. And the memory verse, like I said, I don't have a memory verse today because I'm sleeping in. Okay, so this memory verse is something that I read earlier on, like a few morning times, quiet times ago. That makes no sense. It was about youthfulness in teenagers. It talked about how God is like Teenagers, be teenagers, be youthful, because you won't get your youthfulness again. But guess what? I'm gonna judge you nonetheless. So God's like, I know you're a teenager. I know you're youth. I know you want your youthfulness, but guess what, there is a limit to youthfulness. There's a limit to being youthful, and I'm gonna judge you nonetheless, whether you're a youth or not. And I feel like I myself, and maybe other people around me, I'm a teenager, and I feel like sometimes I kind of justify my actions, and I'm just like, I'm just 16. Well, I'm not just 16, because I'm gonna be judged nonetheless. So that's what I wanted to just talk about. God acknowledges that we're youthful, we're teenagers, and He knows we can't get that youthfulness back, and we should live in the moment, but live in the moment with cautiousness. So, previously, or a few years back, I probably did not want to live in my youthfulness because I was like, too much drama for me. But I realized, you know what, I'm a youth, and I'm never gonna get my youthfulness back if I don't live in it now. So slowly and slowly, I'm painting my nails. Slowly and slowly, I'm living my youthfulness, but I'm trying so hard to live with cautiousness, because, see, I'm gonna be judged nonetheless, okay? My sins are going to be recorded as sin, not sin of youth. Sin. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. God understands that we're youthful, we're teenagers, but yet again, I'm gonna judge you. There's a limit to being youthful. There's a limit to being childless, or what did I say? Childless, childful. There's a limit to say, I'm just 16. There is a limit to your actions as a person, irrespective of your age. So that's basically what I'm talking about. And I pray God gives us more grace to act more Christ-like, and to give us more spiritual strength, spiritual discipline, and to believe in Him and have faith in Him and act like we have faith in Him, and take a chapter a day to more heights. And it's part of one of my 2020 goals, to start a chapter a day YouTube channel and a broader level, and also start a chapter a day journaling company. I'm gonna do it. God's gonna help me do it. God's gonna do it. I'm gonna manifest that. I'm waiting for December 2020, where I'm gonna tell you guys a chapter a day has a journal company. That's so weird. A chapter a day has a journal company. I'm gonna say that, and by the end of college, I'm gonna tell you I have this amount of money, I'm worth this and that. I'm kidding, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm manifesting. I'm having affirmations. I'm starting this chapter of my life with God. Okay, I rambled so much and talked a lot. I hope you guys have a good day, and this helped you and enlightened you in some manner and in some sort. And see you guys tomorrow, or in a different chapter. Bye.